Welcome back to Network Africa. Joining us now is Dr. Abiono Odeyemi, Senior Lecturer and Consultant Pulmonologist, Department of Medicine, Osun State University in Osogbo. Dr. Odeyemi is also the Secretary General of the Nigerian Thoracic Society. Thank you for joining us today. A pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right, so this year's theme is Make Inhaled Treatments Accessible for All. How accessible are inhalers and other medical treatments for people with asthma?
Yes, well, I must say that inhaled medications are not so accessible for a lot of people living with asthma. This is particularly so for our people living in the rural areas. Yes, for some of our people living in the cities, they may have access to these medications. However, for a lot of people in the rural areas and semi-urban areas, these inhalers are actually not readily available. And that is actually a major problem when it comes to treating patients who have asthma.
Right, and I mean, the inhaled medication being available is one thing, but we also spoke about diagnosis just some seconds ago when I was introducing that story. That's if they even know that they have asthma in the first place.
Well, yes, the truth is quite a number of people live with this condition without necessarily knowing that they have the condition. Again, this actually has to do with the way our healthcare sector is set up. So again, for those in the city, it's easy to actually go to the hospital, see a doctor, and then it can be easily diagnosed actually. However, quite a number of people still live with this condition and they are not aware of it. So really, a number of people, yes, they have the condition, but they are not even sure that that's what they have. And even when they know that this is what they have, treatment is also another thing entirely. Okay, so some people, yes, they do not know. Others know they don't even have access to the right treatment.
Right, and you know, I know that you are in Osogbo. That's where we're speaking to you from. If you could give some
Okay.
examples of, how it is, what have been your experience with people in your, area of influence? How do they have they come forward? How much do people know about this condition, and how accessible is asthma medication to the people where you work and reside?
Okay, so for our patients who reside in Osogbo, because Osogbo is the state capital, yes, I must say that yes, a lot of people indeed know about the condition and they actually go out there to actually see doctors. However, since we're a referral center where I work, people come from all over the state. So a number of people who come from the rural areas are actually not necessarily aware of their diagnosis. We actually are the ones that make the diagnosis a number of times. And I must say that some people are actually referred actually acutely. That is, they are actually very sick and then they are referred to the emergency department. It is at that point that diagnosis is made and then treatment started. However, I must say that we've seen cases whereby we've lost some patients because of delayed diagnosis and delayed presentation. And really, we see a number of these we see a number of these conditions. In addition to that, there are also people who yes have asthma. They've been told it is asthma, but for many other reasons, they don't just want to accept the diagnosis, and that also may actually result into not treating the condition, and of course, this may lead to death. Others, in some other cases, we see patients who actually believe there's a stigma associated with using inhalers. Okay, so some people just believe that using inhalers may mean that, they are about to die or the disease is such a big deal. So they actually avoid this treatment, and this actually results in asthma deaths. I must say, asthma deaths are actually largely avoidable. Okay, but because of the ignorance and inaccessibility to proper healthcare facilities and personnel, this actually results in some needless loss of lives.
Right, and we do know that the cost of medication, including that for asthma, is also on the rise. What home remedies can people quickly get going in when they don't have the medication, at their fingertips?
Unfortunately, asthma is that condition that we are not aware of any home remedy. Okay, so and which is why I like the theme of this year's World Asthma Day is to make inhaled medications available for all. There are no home remedies at all. So anybody who has asthma, the easiest home remedy is to get the inhaler and use the inhaler immediately. And the beautiful thing about this inhaler is that it can be carried everywhere the patient is. And it does not require electricity or anything. You don't have to refrigerate it. All the patient just needs to do is to have the inhaler by the side. So the home remedy is to administer the inhaler the moment the patient starts having the symptoms. Or if, but much more than that, we would expect that every patient should actually see a physician or see an expert who actually knows about the care of asthma, because the treatment should not actually start from when the patient has the symptoms. The moment the diagnosis is made, then treatment actually need to continue whether the patient has the symptom or not. One major challenge we have with people who have asthma, because of the nature of the illness, is that once they are symptom free, for some time they believe, oh, the asthma is gone. But unfortunately, it is not so for asthma. It's a condition whereby even without treatment, the disease can actually be quiet for a very long time, okay, without the patient really showing any symptom. However, this does not mean that the asthma is cured. Unfortunately, a lot of people miss it here. Okay, so because the symptoms are actually not there for some time, they believe, oh, the asthma is gone, and then they don't have to use any medications. They don't have to go to the hospital. They don't need to carry their inhalers about. Honestly, that is indeed wrong. So
Right.
to go back to your question, home remedies, there is none.
Right.
Okay, the inhalers are the thing that the patient needs to use.
Right. Consultant pulmonologist Dr. Abiona Odeyemi, thank you again for your time today.
Thank you very much for having me.